Good morning.
Good morning.
We're doing this a little bit different this morning. We got a little bit different background here, but
This is a remote.
yeah, from the other side of the store. So long distance. But now today we're going to be talking about our custom design and how that's done. So we have to kind of change locations slightly
Yeah.
in order to do this. So you'll actually, this will be a good video for everybody because you'll get to see a lot less of us.
Yeah, we'll see how good the cameraman is on
our
moving
transition
from,
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we hope you guys enjoy this. We're going to kind of talk you through how we do some of this CAD CAM design. And for further explanation and further videos and stuff on how we complete these pieces and everything, you can check out our videos tab right here on Facebook. And there's a lot on our casting and the milling process and basically how we finish out those pieces. So, but we're going to try our little smooth transition here.
Okay, now the CAD CAM, you know, that's computer-aided drawing.
Or computer-aided drafting, either way.
Yes, drafting, I guess.
Yes.
And then computer-aided milling.
Or machining. Yeah.
Yeah. See, so you and I didn't know what it was.
So with that, we're gonna try and do a transition here real quick. Whoa.
Steady, steady.
Yeah, steady. Whoa.
Oh, the big clamp.
Here we go. Oh, that wasn't too bad.
Nobody's got dizzy?
I don't think so. Not yet, anyway. So, this is our lovely Matrix program here. And basically, if anybody out there is familiar with this is built on the Rhino platform, which is what most of the big brands out there, car manufacturers, stuff like that, a lot of them use this, or actually the main platform of this to design on. They've done it for cars, clothes, shoes.
Yeah, Nike uses.
Nike uses this. General Motors uses Rhino. This is actually a little program that kind of piggybacks on top of Rhino and adapts it for jewelry.
Was it a zookeeper that come up with this when they named it Rhino?
I don't know.
This guy is probably bored. He's sitting there watching the rhinoceros all the time.
I'm
just going to make software.
I don't know.
He's probably a graphic artist.
Yeah, but what we're going to do, we're going to zoom in here just a little bit on this and get this a little bit more focused on our screen. So what we're going to do is, this is actually what these look like finished, and we're going to get back to this point, but we're going to kind of show you
Back to the Future.
Yes, Back to the Future. But we're going to show you the process of getting here, because it's a long process, and there's a lot of different tools here. You can see all these different buttons and stuff that we've got over here on the side. These are actually just layers, and the layers help us distinguish between parts that are being built on the main viewport or the main screen. We've got little places over here that show us our progress, that we can save different elements in there. But each of the little buttons and tools up here open up a whole new window of more of them. And as you can see, as I click down these, it opens up a lot more stuff. Each one of these has multiple functions within them. I don't remember how many total there is in Matrix, but thousands
And they just added
of functions. And yeah, they just added more. We're getting ready to do the update on that, which is going to give us probably 1,000 more new functions. Basically, this is pretty much limitless. And
this will be the big Rhino.
yeah, the big Rhino. So we're going to close this, and we're going to get rid of some of this stuff here and get back to square one here. I'm going to make sure that I've got this saved, because this actually is a project that we're working on. So we got that. Okay, so we're going to get all this back to normal. So this is how we normally start, right? Here. This is pretty much our home screen. This is how everything kind of gets going. And this gives us a bunch of different views on here. And I'm going to kind of keep this pretty short and sweet because, I mean, we could spend hours just going through how this is done, but we're not going to. But we've got basically a looking down view, which would be like if you had a ring here, you'd actually looking at the top down. Through finger, so you'd actually be looking through the profile of the ring, seeing basically the opening of the ring here. Perspective, which is basically if you had it in your hand, you could twist it around however you wanted. You can kind of do that with this screen here. And then side view is just like it says, it's the side view, what the sides of the ring look like, or whatever piece that we're making. So if we want to do, say, just a fairly simple ring, we throw out what's called a ring rail. That's this little guy right here. We're going to go into our perspective view so that you can kind of see what we're working with. But basically this is just a simple line that like is, well, our curve, yes. Their definitions in Matrix are a lot different than normal real-world definitions of things.
Yeah, but
because everything is an object, even if it's not actually an object.
It fits in with the jewelry thing. You know, it comes up with those weird words like bullion and what's those other weird ones in there that I never understand, like
Azure.
No,
cutters.
I'm talking about in this. You got bullion and.
Oh yeah, you've got some array polar, yeah, quad flip. I mean, there's a lot of different little terms in here that
sound like gymnastics.
Right.
Do the quad flip.
Do the quad flip. Array that thing polar. Yeah. But basically, this gives us a starting point. So this is a size 7 ring that we've got in here. This is just our ring rail. So this is basically just a guideline for where we're going to put our ring. Then what we can do is we can actually add profiles to this, and a profile is simply the shape that we want the part of the ring to look like, the shank of the ring to look like. So we can actually go in here and we can pull this up, and we have a whole library of these that we can look through. And these are all different shapes and sizes, and have unique attributes on how we want to use them for different ring designs. And we can actually go in and modify these to make them any way we want. But just to kind of show you some of the cool deals with this, we're going to pick a real unique profile here. We're just going to do a simple band real fast.
This is the bumpy one?
This is the bumpy one. So we can adjust our thickness, which is our height here. Typically you don't want to go too thick with this or it's not comfortable on the finger. We can adjust our width, how wide the ring is or how narrow it is. And then we can offset this, move this away from the curve or bring it inside the curve. It just kind of depends on what we're wanting to make. We can tilt and rotate. So if we want to make this kind of a little bit sideways, we can. We can go either way we want there. Same way with this, we can tilt this, and a lot of times this is really only a factor whenever we're bringing it up to meet stones. But we're going to just do this as a simple band real quick and show you how this can easily get modified. But we're going to add one more profile on here, and we're going to move this around to the top. Come on. There we go. And now that we got those placed, we can kind of look and see what we think. If we like that shape, we can actually alternate. Yeah, we're thinking now. Then we go up here and we go to a surface, and this is what allows us to actually start making 3D objects here. So we're going to select our outlines, and now we've got a 3D object. Pretty quick and easy. So bands like this are pretty easy. We got a tire. It's like Michelin Man's wedding band. So we can go in here and we can actually modify these curves kind of on the fly. We can change their widths and thicknesses and everything. So say we want to make the top of this ring a lot bigger, we can do that, and it automatically updates once we hit enter. And so we can kind of manipulate and change these however we want. Say we don't like that profile, we can go back over here and change that out. And we can pick out another one. Let's see, what's a fun one in here that we could do? That one looks interesting. Let's try that. And it'll automatically update it, but it blends into the one down here. So we can add other profiles in here to change it, how it transitions all the way up to the top or all the way to the bottom. Kind of fun. And then say we don't like that one, we want to go change this again. We want something maybe a little bit more simple. So we're going to go back up here to the top. And we're just going to pick something that's maybe not quite as out there. I'm just going to kind of simplify the ring. It's kind of got a cool shape to it. So now what we want to do is we want to see what this is going to look like in metal. And we'll go back and show you some with stones and stuff here in a second. So we're going to select it. So we want to make that in white gold. Do that. We're going to put a background in here so we don't have it just like floating in, you know, Narnia or wherever. And now we can actually do what we call rendering this, and this is actually going to give us as close depiction of what the finished piece will look like as possible without actually making it.
Can't try it on, but
no, can't try it on. But this is pretty dang close. Basically, it's good or better than looking at it in a catalog.
Yeah, and a lot of them even that you see in magazines or
TV ads, stuff like that.
Are basically what we're doing here.
Computer-aided renderings, yeah.
So that'd be a car.
Mm-hmm.
Computer-aided rendering.
Yeah.
I like that better than a cab.
So, okay. Say, well, we kind of like the top of that, but the bottom, well, that's just not our favorite. So what we can do is we can actually go in here and select that one. We're going to change it. And we want something maybe not as wild. We're going to go with something maybe a little bit more normal. We can do that. And then that's going to change our profile on here. And it'll smooth it out to the bottom. So we have this kind of cool little groove pattern coming up here. But we really want to see what that looks like. So all we do is just change our point of view and re-render. And it looks kind of weird just because of the way our reflections are here, but it's doing this in high polish. It looks like it's
got 3 windows at the top.
Right? So let's do this. Let's change the metal color so we can see this a little bit better. We'll do it in rose gold. There we go. It's a little bit better. And sometimes if the reflections just aren't quite right, we can move this around a little bit. We can also change the scene on here. We can do different lighting and all sorts of stuff. And actually, in this program, you can actually animate things if you want. It just takes a long time to do it.
Because of the cartoon characters or what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not real motivated to work. No, it's just that it's doing a ton of calculations for each little pixel on here to figure out what the reflections and stuff are. So like on this, we're getting kind of some weird reflections here, and part of that's due to our texture that this is setting on, so we can change that. We'll go with something maybe a little bit more normal, I guess you could say. So it was on white linen, so now we're just going to do a white matte finish and see if that helps our reflections at all. Just a little bit. We just need to change our point of view a little. Now, some of this may have to do with our scene. So, like I said, some of this is just changing lighting, maybe even the angle of the lighting, because this is basically like we're putting it in a little photo booth and taking a photo of it. It's just, it's computer generating it instead of actually being a photo of a finished piece. But say now we want to go in here and maybe we want to put a stone or something in the top. So Michelin Man now wants a diamond in his
Michelin Man.
In his ring.
Oh, Michelin Man. Or
So-
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Hmm. Either one, I guess.
So the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man looks like the Michelin Man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so we can either do this one of two ways. We can put a single stone in, and a lot of times the way I like to do that is we go to our little gem selector. I have a gem loader tool here. Pull that up. And we can go back and we can pick what shape we want. So we're going to just do a round stone. And let's say we want to do like, let's do like a 1/4 carat. And so now what we can do, this automatically puts everything in what we call world center, which centers it in every direction on the X, Y, and Z axis. So now what we can do, and that's probably a little bit big for what we need here. Let's go back and do something a little bit smaller. Let's do, yeah. That's a little bit better. Okay, so now we want this to be basically a flush set stone. So what we don't want is we don't want the bottom of the stone or the culet to come through the ring, so we need to make sure that it's up just a little bit, but we want to make sure that it's still set inside the ring. So we've still got some metal over here that can kind of cover that up pretty good. But we can actually kind of raise this just a tiny bit and still have enough metal here. So right now what this looks like is it looks like it's just kind of buried in there, and that's just fine, because what we can do is come in here and actually cut this out.
Oh, we have a gem cutter.
We do. We have a
I
gem
wish we
cutter,
had a gem cutter like this. We just buzz in. And
right?
so I got some that needs to be cut. Could
So-
we change it into like a virtual stone? Like a real stone into a virtual stone?
No.
No.
And some way that we can do this is we can change how we're looking at this. So this goes from shaded to wireframe, and this helps us look and see how we're actually working here, because we want to have a little bit of metal left here over the stone so that we have something to, you know, set it with. So we don't want to cut everything out, but we can get pretty close to the right size here. And so we're going to bring that down just a tiny bit here. There we go. Everything looks good there. We can hit enter. So this leaves us with our little cutter. So now we just got an orange blob sitting here, but this is actually our cutter. And then we're going to do one of the things that my dad loves, which is Boolean. Boolean is basically just how two three-dimensional objects are interacting with each other. Either they're cutting, removing, or joining
But who come up with that word?
I don't know.
Is that a French thing or something?
Probably.
That's zookeeper.
So we can look at this here, and we know this is our cutter, so we're going to put this in that little box here, and we want it to cut out of that object. So we want to make sure that this is what's called Boolean difference, which means that the cutter is going to remove from the other object.
Oh, and it's got little scissors.
It does. And then, boop, it's gone. So now we have our nice, neat little hole for our stone here. And we can go back.
What kind of stone are we going to have?
I don't know. What do we want to put in there? We got a rose gold ring. So we can put whatever stone we want in there. We could. So we can select our stone. And we're going to put a background back in here. And let's make it real dramatic. We're going to go back in here with some black linen. And then we'll render it. So now we have a really good idea what this piece is going to look like finished. And this works so much better than how we used to do things, because used to we would just, draw things out on a basically two-dimensional, yeah.
We could do different perspectives, but it's still two-dimensional, and we would actually paint it, and we actually did that to scale.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of a connect the dot guy, so that's definitely, I had to do it to scale. Where this does it to scale, but the proportions are bigger.
Well, that, and it's a lot easier for us we can change this design a lot easier.
Yeah,
because
instead of doing it all over again.
Yeah, you're not spending hours trying to come up with, multiple views, and then only for the customer to say, well, I don't like that, and then you have to start your design process all over. With this, we can actually kind of change things on the fly, and within a matter of a few seconds have a new picture for them, instead of telling them, okay, come back next week, we'll have a new painting ready for you to look at.
Well, unless we're just totally off base.
Yeah. But the other great thing is this program allows us to put these designs directly to our mill or a 3D printer. And so the process before this was we'd take our two-dimensional design and then
carve it in wax by hand.
Yeah, set at a bench for hours, and with a bunch of little tools, mostly homemade tools, carve out of that piece of wax until we got that finished piece ready to cast. Now we can actually send it to our mill, and that's where the CAM part of CAD/CAM comes in. And you have computer-aided machining or milling, and it actually goes in and mills that design to scale and extremely precise. So precise that we can actually do letters and designs and stuff in there that are exact to what is on the screen.
And Colton loves to do letters by hand, like a big name, because you mess up on one letter, you get to start all over again, and it's hard to get one letter right, let alone 4 or 5 or 10 of them right.
Yeah. So no, I don't like doing that.
Yeah.
But it's made things so much better. It makes it easier on us to come up or to make better product.
Right. Because we can.
And quicker.
We're only limited by either your imagination or our imagination.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of leeway.
Yeah. But if you guys do want to see this process, or you have a custom piece that you're wanting to have done, just stop by our store. We're here at Town and Country Shopping Center, 4254 South Alameda, basically at the Everhart and Alameda intersection here in Corpus. And like we said at the start of the video, if you guys want to see how some of these get completed from this point on, we do have more videos on our video tab, and you can check out our YouTube channel as well. And it will show you our casting process and a lot of the finishing process and stone setting. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to give us a call, 361-991-7565. Shoot us a message here on Facebook, or just check out our other videos. A lot of those will answer a lot of the questions that you might have.
Come and watch the magic.
Or come watch the magic happen. Yeah. Be sure to check out our Instagram too, because we do post a lot on there. So we thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.